Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 53 of That Side Character, and this one is titled Date. Kenma's heart sank. This was it. This was where your bodies would be found the next morning. He was convinced that you had just sealed both your and his doom. Oi, the leader now addressed Kenma, who flinched. Your missy here doesn't have any fear, does she? He asked. Kenma shook his head. I respect that, he said with a smirk, taking his hand from his pocket and placing it on your shoulder to give you a firm pat. Okay, Fearless-chan, and blonde-hair paint-kun, you can pass. Let it be known that you're now respected by the Tokyo Raiders gang. Oh, thank you, he said happily, your happiness still not matching the vibe that was still there, as you could have ended up being pummeled by these guys. The rest of the gang chuckled and mumbled to themselves as you and Kenma walked through the path that they had made for you both, to the door on the other side, and you knocked. Well, they were nice, you commented to Kenma, who was still trying to recover from the stress of that situation. I hope this place is legitimate, he thought as he waited for the guy to open the door. An older man came to the door and greeted you both, confirming that this was the right place to learn balloon art, and you grinned from ear to ear. Oh, I'm so excited, you exclaimed, walking in ahead of Kenma and looking at all the awards this guy had hanging on his walls. By the looks of it, he was very good at his craft, and also dabbled as a magician, the pictures of him on the walls mid-show telling of his life as an entertainer. Wow, you know how to do lots of stuff, Balloon Sensei, you said to the man, who laughed at your nickname of him. Yes, I do, he said, reaching into his sleeve and pulling out a balloon rose that was expertly made. Oh, you exclaimed, taking it and looking it over. This is amazing. Thank you, he said with a smile. And I'm going to teach you how to make these for your date today. How long have you and... He looked at Kenma, who was hanging back a bit. Your boyfriend been together? You looked at Kenma. I think about 3 months. Kenma nodded. Yeah, it's been about 3 months. The guy then quickly tapped his head, and when he pulled his hand away, a small 3-shaped balloon was in it. You squealed with delight and took it from his outstretched hand. This is so cool! How did you know to have a 3 done? You asked him. A good magician never tells, the man said with a waggle of his finger. Well, can you teach us to do balloon art still? You asked hopefully. Yes, of course, he replied, gesturing for you and Kenma to sit at the table nearby. You did so, and the tutorial began. It was the most fun you had had in a while, and although you stuffed a lot of your balloon making up, you still managed to make a few good ones. The lesson went for an hour and a half, but to you it felt like it was 10 minutes long. Aww, you hummed sadly as the man wrapped up the lesson. I was just getting used to doing the twisty twist. Practice, the man said. Now go and buy some balloons and practice more until one day you too might be the next balloon entertainer. You were hyped, and so promised him that you would keep practicing. Kenma thanked the man for his time and discreetly paid for the lessons, and then you left the place. Thankfully, the gang that had been hanging around out the front door had left, so you and Kenma had free passage down the alley and back out onto the street without any mishaps. You had insisted on keeping all of the balloon creations that you had made during the lesson, and so had a balloon crown on, balloon shoes on, a balloon poodle on a stick, and a variety of other items that only you could identify because they were so munted no one else could tell what they were. That was so much fun, you exclaimed to Kenma as you headed down the street, getting strange looks from those who passed you. I think I want to do balloon art for a living. Kenma eyed you, covered in random balloons, and shook his head. You need to do lots of practice, he said. I will, you replied happily. I'll start with small children's birthday parties because they don't care if the balloon art looks like crap. They're just happy to have a balloon. He nodded. Another month or so went by, and the year was starting to wrap up. Plans were being made for the end of your prom, and you were excited because you had someone to go with this year. Hey, you greeted Kenma as you bounced up to him after school that day. Want to be my date for the prom? I'm your boyfriend, he replied with a confused look. I thought it was a given that we'd go together. Oh, true, but I still wanted to ask, he said with a smile. Now I got to get an outfit for the night. What would be acceptable? Could I go in an inflatable dinosaur suit? He was starting to get used to your random comments by now, so he wasn't fazed by your desire to get the dinosaur suit. I'll need to match you, I guess, he replied apathetically. You can be a Triceratops, he replied brightly. I've seen those ones too. They look awesome. Kenma just continued to pack his bag, and then once ready, you headed back to his place to chill for a while. You want to come shopping with me? You asked him as he pulled his PSP out and started to load his game. Not really, he said bluntly. All I'll be doing is just walking around behind you and sitting in random shops. Yeah, but I still want you there, you said, slightly sadly. He sighed. If I have to. Yay! Thanks, Kozu! You leaned over and kissed his cheek. Hey, you know how I wanted us to have nicknames before? Apple and Pie? We should do that now, because we're actually dating, so it wouldn't be weird. Again, he didn't seem overly impressed by the idea, but his desire to make you smile overrode all other things, and he relinquished. Okay, but do I have to call you it in front of others? Are you shy, Kozu? You teased him. It's just such a lovey couple thing to do, he replied blandly. I thought we were a lovey couple, you asked with surprise. No, we're a normal couple that like each other a lot, but we don't do silly lovey stuff, he said. I like us the way we are. It was true. You were just the perfect couple the way you were. Yeah, you said with a soft smile. I like us the way we are too. Thanks, Pie. Yeah, Apple. Kenma replied softly as he looked down at his PSP. Your heart did the moonwalk and hit the high note. Ah! You suddenly wailed, clutching your heart, scaring Kenma and making him jump with surprise and look at you. You actually called me Apple. Because you wanted me to, he replied apathetically. I didn't think you'd do it, but I'm so glad you did, you said with a grin. Okay, so shopping this afternoon. Wait, this afternoon? He asked, staring at you through his fringe. But I thought it wasn't going to be until later. No time like the present. Let's go. You grabbed his arm and tried to pull him off the bed. Oh wait, let's feed Kenma first, then me, then shopping. No wait, I'll eat after, because if I eat before we try on the outfits, then I might not fit them because my tummy will be full. But if I try it on with a flat stomach, well... You look down at yourself. Okay, not like flat, but like more flat than if I had food in it. You feel? So anyway, Kenma's super cute. Hey, I love how chatty he is. He's really happy at your place. I haven't even told my dad that I've got a cat. Well, technically he's not mine because you signed the adoption papers. But if it weren't for me, then you wouldn't have... Ian, Kenma asked. You hummed, shutting your mouth for 2 seconds to look at him. Is something wrong? You seem a little on edge and you're talking a lot more than you usually do, Kenma said, picking up that something was amiss with you. No, I'm fine, you said. It was a lie. You were worried about the fact that you still hadn't told your dad that you even had a boyfriend. You and your dad weren't really on great terms at the best of times, and you had a feeling that somehow the fact that you had a man was going to come out on prom night. Naturally, you had been worrying about how you were going to be able to get money to even buy a prom dress/outfit, so deducted that you would just borrow your dad's credit card like you usually did. It was all good and well, but you knew that your dad would be suspicious if he saw the reason for the card being used. Every other year that you had graduated, you hadn't gone to the end of your dance because you either didn't have friends or they had dates and you didn't, so you just stayed home instead. But you wanting to go this year was going to be suspicious enough as it was, and if your dad was home on prom night and saw you leave the house looking all dressed up, that would be even more suspicious. What if he asked about Kenma, and then wanted to meet him, and didn't like him, and forced you two to break up, and... Yin, Kenma asked again, stopping in his tracks to get you to stop as well. It looked like you were about to have a meltdown. Tell me what's wrong, he said gently, while you refused to look him in the eye. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O, the next drama. Stay tuned for chapter 54 coming tomorrow.